Welcome, everyone, to the Complete Aviation Solutions Deep Dive, number 94.
Great to be here. Our mission, as always, is to unpack what's really happening in aviation right now.
Exactly. We cut through the noise, dive into the latest information. Today, we're looking at, well, quite a range.
Yeah, we've got airlines expanding their networks, some interesting innovation in passenger experience.
And also, let's be real, some of the big operational challenges airlines are dealing with right now.
So stick with us and you'll get some valuable insights into, well, the very dynamic world of aviation today.
Okay, let's jump right in. First up, airline connectivity. This is always a big one for travelers.
Definitely. Airlines are constantly trying to make it easier for you to get around the globe.
And we're seeing one major airline making some, well, pretty strategic moves lately through partnerships, not just flying their own planes everywhere.
That's right. Building reach through alliances is key. They've signed multiple interline agreements, 4 airlines, actually.
Focused on what the sources call emerging markets.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking Air Baltic, Bulgaria Air, Cyprus Airways, and Uzbekistan Airways.
Okay, so the goal there is pretty clear then. Boost connectivity to places like the Baltics, Eastern Europe, Central Asia, places that might be harder to reach on a single ticket.
Precisely. And the numbers are quite telling, adding 16 new destinations across 6 countries.
Wow, 16. That's significant. But it's through these partnerships, right? Not just launching their own routes.
Exactly. And the benefit for you, the traveler, it's really about seamless journeys.
Meaning?
Meaning you can book a single ticket that covers flights on, say, the main airline and one of these partners.
Yeah.
No separate bookings needed.
Okay, that simplifies things. What about bags? That's always the worry.
Coordinated baggage handling, that's part of the deal with interline agreements. Check your bags once, pick them up at your final destination.
Ah, that is a major plus. Takes away a lot of stress.
Huge stress reliever, and it works both ways, you know?
How so?
Well, while the big airline gets access to these new cities, the partner airlines get access to the Indian market. Over 30 cities within India become accessible to their passengers.
So it helps travel flow in both directions. Good for business, good for tourism. Makes sense.
And the sources really drill down into the specifics, like with Air Baltic, you can now reach Riga, Tallinn, Vilnius.
The Baltic capitals.
Right, and you can connect via loads of European hubs, Amsterdam, Paris, Copenhagen, Frankfurt, London, Gatwick, Milan, Vienna, Zurich, even Dubai.
So lots of connection options depending on where you start. That's real flexibility.
It is. Then with Bulgaria Air, you get Sofia, obviously, via hubs like Heathrow, Paris, Amsterdam, Frankfurt.
And onwards connections too.
Yep, onwards to Varna and Burgas on the Black Sea coast. Again, making that region much easier to access.
Yeah. And Cyprus Airways.
That brings Larnaca into the network, connecting via Paris, Milan, or Dubai.
And Uzbekistan. That sounds interesting. Central Asia could be complex to navigate.
It really can. This partnership opens up Tashkent from Delhi, Mumbai, and even Goa Mopa.
Goa Mopa, the new airport there. Okay.
But it goes deeper. Onward connections within Uzbekistan. Think Bukhara, Samarkand, Urgench, Nukus. Quite a few regional cities.
Wow, okay, so it's not just capital to capital, it's genuine regional access.
Exactly. The sources emphasize this point. It's about enhancing global reach into these important emerging markets, giving you more options.
And it kind of cements India's position as a major hub, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Facilitating all these connections.
It certainly reinforces that. It shows how airlines can grow their footprint smartly, efficiently, without huge upfront investment in every single market. It's about the network effect.
It really highlights that competitive advantage today isn't just about having the most planes. It's about building the smartest, most seamless virtual network through these kinds of deals.
Well put. These aren't just small agreements. They're calculated plays for traffic in developing regions.
Okay, sticking with partnerships, but a different type. The sources also mention a new code-share agreement.
Ah, yes, code shares.
Yeah.
Slightly different from interline.
Can you quickly explain the difference for listeners? How does a code share impact your travel?
Sure. With a code share, 2 airlines put their flight numbers on the same flight. So Airline A might operate the plane, but Airline B can sell seats on that flight as if it were their own, using their BA flight code.
So as a passenger, you might book entirely with Airline B, but one leg of your journey is actually flown by Airline A.
Exactly. It basically lets airlines offer way more destinations than they actually fly to themselves. It expands the menu for you.
Got it. And this specific one announced.
It's between that same major Indian airline and Icelandair.
India and Iceland. That's an interesting pairing. What's the goal there?
Boosting connectivity between the two countries, obviously. Strengthening travel links, maybe trade ties as well.
And again, the promise is flexibility, choice, and a seamless experience for the traveler.
That's the aim. Convenient connection times, unified baggage rules across the code share parts, simplifying the journey.
Okay, so how does it work in practice?
Yeah.
Which routes are covered?
Well, the Indian airline is adding its AI code, let's say, onto Icelandair flights from Reykjavik to key European hubs.
Hubs that the Indian airline also flies to.
Right. Places like Heathrow, Gatwick, Frankfurt, Paris, Amsterdam, Copenhagen, Milan, Zurich. So you could book Delhi to Reykjavik via, say, Amsterdam, all on one AI ticket.
Okay, I see. And the other way around.
Icelandair puts its FI code on the Indian Airlines flights from India to those European gateways.
So Delhi to Amsterdam, Paris, Frankfurt, Heathrow.
Yep, and Mumbai to Frankfurt and Heathrow as well. So someone in Reykjavik could book right through to Mumbai via London, all on an FI ticket code.
It really does create a bridge, doesn't it? Linking these quite distant points.
It does. The sources quote the airlines emphasizing the seamless connection, expanding global reach. It's another way to grow presence without launching costly new long-haul routes yourself. Smart strategy.
Okay, so that covers expanding networks on the ground, connecting cities. Let's shift focus now, up into the air itself, enhancing the experience during the flight.
In-flight connectivity, always
Yeah.
a hot topic.
It really is. Staying connected is becoming, well, almost expected now, isn't it? Less of a luxury.
Absolutely. It's a must-have for many. And we have an interesting development here from Royal Brunei Airlines.
What are they doing?
They've picked Intelsat to put in-flight connectivity on their Airbus A320neo fleet.
Okay. And what kind of tech are we talking about? Just standard Wi-Fi?
They're calling it a multi-orbit service. The big promise is reliable internet, aiming for something like the speed and dependability you get at home.
That's a bold claim for in-flight Wi-Fi. It's often been patchy, let's say.
Historically, yes, but the tech is evolving fast. This system uses a new type of antenna, an electronically steered array, or ESA.
Yeah, ESA. What's special about that?
The source highlights its size. It's less than 7 centimeters tall, very compact compared to the traditional dome antennas you see.
Wow, that is small. Does that make a difference?
It does. Being electronic, it can switch between satellites much faster than older mechanical ones, and that ties into the multi-orbit approach.
Okay, multi-orbit. You mentioned that. What does it mean?
It means the system can connect to both the traditional geostationary satellites, GEO, way up high, and the newer low Earth orbit satellites, the LEO constellations that are much closer.
Like Starlink and others. So using both.
Exactly. GEO gives wide coverage. LEO can offer lower latency, potentially higher speeds. Using both together is meant to give you really reliable, fast internet, even over remote areas or oceans where coverage used to drop out. It's about redundancy and performance.
Interesting. When is this rolling out on Royal Brunei?
Installation is set to start late next year, fourth quarter of 2025.
And Royal Brunei flies quite diverse routes, right? Asia, Middle East, Australia, UK.
Yeah, so having reliable connectivity across those long sectors, often over water, will be a significant upgrade for their passengers.
And the airline's view on this?
They see it as setting a new standard, a commitment to innovation, and delivering a top-notch experience. They explicitly said staying connected is now a necessity, not a luxury.
That really says it all, doesn't it? It's becoming fundamental to the passenger experience, like the seat or the meal.
It absolutely is. Reliable Wi-Fi is becoming a key battleground for airlines, especially on longer flights. It shows how tech is reshaping what we expect on board.
Okay, so we've got expanding networks, better tech in the air, but it's not all smooth flying, is it? Let's talk about the operational side, the practical realities airlines are facing.
Right, the flip side of the coin. Because managing fleets and operations is incredibly complex, and things don't always go to plan.
And the sources highlight some specific challenges, particularly at Wizz Air.
Yes, they seem to be navigating some significant headwinds, as the source puts it.
The main one being engine issues.
That's right. Ongoing problems with certain Pratt & Whitney engines, the PW1000 series, specifically the geared turbofan engines. Durability issues requiring a lot of checks and maintenance.
And this is having a real impact on their fleet.
A substantial impact. The source quantified it. As of early May, they had 37 aircraft grounded because of these engine problems.
37 planes, that's a lot for any airline, especially a low-cost carrier relying on high utilization.
It's huge. And it's not a quick fix. The estimate is that around 34 of those might still be parked through the end of September 2025.
Oh, September next year. Why so long?
Because the maintenance required, the shop visits for these engines, are taking on average about 300 days per aircraft.
300 days, almost a year to get one plane's engines sorted.
Yeah. When you have to cycle multiple aircraft through that process and the repair capacity is limited, it creates a massive bottleneck and ties up a big chunk of your fleet for a very long time.
That must be incredibly frustrating for the airline. A real headwind, as they said.
Definitely. Though the management expressed some optimism, expecting the number of grounded planes to start decreasing in the next fiscal year.
Have they gotten any support from the engine maker?
Yes, they reached a commercial support agreement with Pratt & Whitney, secured compensation for 2025 and 2026.
Which helps the bottom line, I guess, but it doesn't get the planes back in the air any faster.
Exactly. Financial compensation is one thing, operational capacity is another.
And are the engine troubles the only issue Wizz Air is facing?
Not quite. The sources also mentioned changes to planned aircraft deliveries, delays from the manufacturers.
Another industry-wide headache. Which aircraft type is affected for them?
The Airbus A321XLR. That's the new extra long-range version of the A321neo. Very important for opening up longer routes for narrow-body planes.
And what's the change?
They now expect to get fewer of them by March 2026 than they originally planned, 8 instead of 10.
Okay, 2 aircraft might not sound like a huge number, but for a growing airline planning new routes based on these deliveries.
It definitely impacts their expansion plans and network strategy. Any delay can throw things off.
Have they received any XLRs yet?
Yes, the first one was delivered to their UK operation, actually, and it's already flying London Gatwick to Jeddah.
So the plane is entering service, just maybe slower than hoped.
Seems so. And Wizz Air is a big customer for this jet. They have 47 on order across the group.
47 makes them,
Yeah.
what, the 4th largest customer?
That's right. And the first low-cost carrier to operate the XLR. It's key to their strategy of flying longer, thinner routes efficiently. So these delivery adjustments are a bump in the road for that plan.
And all these challenges, grounded planes, maintenance delays, delivery changes, presumably hit the finances.
Absolutely. The source notes that despite carrying more passengers and higher total revenue recently,
So demand is strong.
demand is strong, yes, but their profit was down significantly compared to the year before. It just shows the real cost of these operational problems eating into the bottom line even when people want to fly.
Okay, so bringing this all together, we've seen airlines expanding globally through partnerships, investing in better tech like in-flight Wi-Fi, but also battling these really tough operational issues like engine problems and delivery delays. What's the big takeaway for you listening to this?
Well, it really paints a picture of the aviation industry as this incredibly complex, constantly moving machine. Airlines are working super hard on the front end, making connections easier, improving your onboard experience.
Things you directly see and benefit from, like those seamless bookings or hopefully faster Wi-Fi.
Right. But behind the scenes, they're dealing with these massive, sometimes external challenges. Engine reliability across the whole fleet type, manufacturing delays, things that are hard to control but have huge knock-on effects.
It's like they're juggling growth and innovation with resilience and just keeping the existing operation running smoothly against these headwinds.
Exactly. It's a constant balancing act. You've got these partnership webs opening up new destinations you might not have thought reachable before. You've got tech trying to make flying less of a disconnected experience.
And then you've got the harsh reality that a problem deep inside an engine or a delay on a factory floor can ripple through the entire system and potentially affect schedules and your travel plans.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about all the different parts that have to come together. The network planning, the tech investment, the maintenance crews working around the clock, the supply chain issues. It all feeds into that flight you take.
It definitely underscores the complexity. It's so much more than just buying a ticket and getting on a plane.
Absolutely. Every single element, the partnerships, the tech, the fleet management, the maintenance, it all impacts capacity, costs, reliability, and ultimately you.
So maybe here's a final thought to leave you with today. Next time you're booking a flight, or even just sitting at the gate, think about those hidden layers. That ticket isn't just a seat. It represents this vast network of agreements making the route possible. It relies on incredibly sophisticated tech trying to beam internet to you at 30,000 feet.
And supporting it all is this intricate, often challenging ballet of managing hundreds of aircraft, dealing with maintenance schedules, unexpected groundings, and manufacturing realities, all just to keep things moving.
So given all that complexity, all that constant change and challenge, What do you think the next big disruptor will be? Will it be another technological leap or maybe another unforeseen operational hurdle that fundamentally changes how we fly? Something to ponder.